Yes, EFD squad, and welcome back to Transfer Review with Pat and I, where we put the week's hottest transfer rumours underneath the microscope. Starting with Southampton's Dutch maestro, Pato, is Virgil van Dijk. Where's he going?
Well, apparently Chelsea lead the race for the 25-year-old. They're rumoured to be thinking of offering £50 million and 21-year-old defender Andreas Christensen to Southampton.
It's a hell of a deal, though.
Well, he has been on loan at Mönchengladbach for the last couple of seasons, and we've covered him a couple of times in scout reports and I believe in winners and losers and Euro Roundup. So we really think highly of him. This would be a great deal for the Saints. Now, Van Dijk has only made 21 appearances this season. He made 34 in his debut campaign, which was very, very impressive, whereas this one has been a little bit rockier. But for a guy they paid 13 million for, he certainly proved to be an outstanding bargain. Now, Man United, Man City, Liverpool and Arsenal are all rumoured to be interested in him as well. But Chelsea, the title winners-elect, look to be forerunners at the moment. But how would he fit into that 3-4-3?
Well, let's have a look at some of his stats when he's played this season, those very limited appearances. I think he's made 21. When he has played, he's averaged 1.9 tackles and 2.6 interceptions a game. That's a sizable improvement on someone like David Luiz, for example, but you'd expect that in a side that concedes 3 more shots than, say, the champions-elect Chelsea. Now, he's likely to challenge the Brazilian for his sweeper position in Conte's 3-4-3, in my opinion. I'm not sure where you think he'd fit in, but rather David Luiz than, say, vice-captain Cahill or Azpilicueta, who flank him, don't they? They bomb forward, make those tackles and fill those spaces out wide. Now, is he an improvement on David Luiz? Well, he wins 20% more headers than the Brazilian, has a slightly better pass percentage, he completes more tackles per game, and he makes more clearances and completes more forward passes per game. Now, the most important thing from this transfer, Pato, would be Celtic landing 10% of the fee. That's £5 million for you maths fans out there. That is at least 2 more Gary Hoopers.
Oh, 2 of them.
Get in there.
Can you imagine?
Get in there. But what do you guys think? Where should he end up? Whose place should he take? Let us know in the comments below.
Our next transfer is Dries Mertens, who apparently could be leaving Napoli for Manchester United. This comes from Bleacher Report. Chris, is there any truth? And would Mertens be a good fit for them?
It is Dries Mertens who did the dog pea celebration on the corner flag, isn't it?
I don't remember.
That celebration's worth £30 million alone. But yes, the Belgian is yet to extend his contract past 2018 following his excellent season with the Little Donkeys. He's got 22 goals and 5 assists in just 24 starts. And that's apparently sufficient enough to rouse the interest, Pato, of a big money move to United. Although he is turning 30 soon, which is the same amount in millions as his release clause, apparently. So it costs 30 million. But we know Mourinho has no qualms with signing and relying on older players, do we? Look at Zlatan Ibrahimovic this season. And there's actually quite a nice balance in the squad at the moment between youth and experience. In their last game in the Premier League, Manchester United's average age is 27, which is actually pretty healthy. Man City's last game, for example, was around 29, their average age. So, come see, come sa, Pato. Is he the ideal solution to fix United, or is it a short-term solution? Is it a quick fix?
I don't know if it's any kind of solution at all. They seem like they're quite well stocked in wide areas, Man United. Mata has played in and out this season. Mkhitaryan, we haven't seen him get enough game time at all. Martial, of course, sat on the bench for a long stretch of the campaign. And though Rashford has had a run up front, he, of course, can play wide as well. That's where he predominantly played as a youth player. So I'm not sure that Mertens really works. It looks like they're going to make an improved contract offer to him. That's Napoli anyway. They've obviously just signed up Lorenzo Insigne until 2022, so they'll be loath to let go of Mertens just as he's filled that gap left by Higuain very, very well. Now, 30 million on the other hand, it's not too bad for a 30-year-old. Maybe you take that, especially one who's always been so reliant on his pace and mobility. What about
similar echoes of that move for Van Persie, no? A 30-year-old coming off the back of a prolific season. Could he do it for 1 year, transform the mentality of the club?
Well, Van Persie was a bit younger than that, though. Van Persie was about 28.
Was it?
And so they kind of thought, right, we'll get 2 seasons out of him. And obviously, as well, Ferguson had 1 season left and he wanted to win the league. And so it made sense from his point of view.
Yeah.
And also, that money, that's actually less than they'd be paying for Mertens here, who, of course, is older. though inflation, blah, blah, blah. Now, the problem with this is we're also hearing Man United are going to make a move for Antoine Griezmann, and that seems to make a lot more sense. Now, there's a commercial aspect there. It's only £85 million thanks to Griezmann's buyout clause, and Griezmann is much more of an all-rounder.
Yeah.
He can play in that wide position, he can play as an attacking mid, he can play as a centre forward, though I'm not sure that he really fits the Mourinho centre forward mould. And also, he's done this despite playing on a side which is not necessarily an attacking powerhouse like Napoli are. Napoli have a decent defence and an incredible attack. Atletico Madrid are the other way around. They have a good attack and an absolutely insane defence. Now, this would surely spell the end for Juan Mata. He'd obviously be farmed out, you'd have thought. But he's had a great season. More shots created in the area, more chances created than Griezmann this campaign. He's created a chance every 35 minutes, which is actually the best of any United player this season. When he plays, he's very, very good. And I don't think there's space for both of these, and I think that United will go for Griezmann if they have the choice.
And could Mertens maintain that form? Obviously, in his three previous seasons, he's only scored 22 league goals in the Serie A. Is this an anomaly of a season? Is he that good a player? We don't know. Let us know in the comments below. Or look at his expected goals ratio.
Next up, we take a little departure from the norm. We're going to deal with a manager transfer rumour. Ronald Koeman to Barcelona. This comes from TalkSport. This comes from the Daily Express. It's been all over the place. Of course, he's a club legend. Chris, tell me about this.
Oh yeah, he won 10 major honours, didn't he, while he was with the Blaugrana in his trophy-laden spell. But apparently, Pato, according to TalkSport / The Express, as you said, they're bulking at his £6.7 million release clause, which is weird because that's how much Neymar makes in about 6 months. You wouldn't have thought if they wanted their man that 6.7 million would be a hurdle that they couldn't overcome. But anyway, other names that have been linked with succeeding Luis Enrique, Sacristan from Sociedad, Salzburg, Oscar Garcia, Junyent, Bilbao's Ernesto Valverde, which we were speaking to Guillaume Balaguer, weren't we? He tipped him for the role, and current assistant manager Unzwe. Now, guys, who do you think should take over? Quick poll. We're going to deviate into a quick poll. So yeah, vote up there. But anyway, I mean, does he, Koeman that is, have the pedigree to take over a job like Barcelona? I mean, he's got 2 Eredivisie titles to his name. He's got a KNVB Cup, a Portuguese Cup, Pato. The last time he managed in Spain with Valencia in 2007, he had a win percentage of around 32%. Now, I can't remember sort of what squad he inherited in that time, so I suppose we need to give it a bit of context. He did win the Copa del Rey, but more to the point, is his functional style of football that we saw at Everton, particularly in the first 6 months, is that the style of football he wants to incorporate wherever he goes, or is he just using, you know, his chess pieces to generate the maximum amount of points, Pato?
Well, yeah, this is the thing. I mean, Everton had obviously had a kind of ramshackle defence for the last couple of years under Martinez, and what he's done is really shore that up. Now, of course, he bought an older player in Ashley Williams, and actually that backline is very old overall. They're all going to play in that deep block. It's a very rigid system, and then they can rely on the fact that Lukaku is capable of creating chances out of nothing up front. It'll be interesting to see what happens if Koeman stays and Lukaku goes, because then can he create a system that actually produces high quality chances again and again, or does he need that sort of outstanding talent to be able to do it? Now, of course, as well, we've seen that he favours a very functional midfield, which is not really the kind of thing that Barcelona like. He's had Gay and Schneiderlin at Everton. He had Wanyama and I think James Ward-Prowse, who I do like, but still, at Southampton. These are guys who are going to be pretty solid, who are going to get the ball forward, and then you had 1 or 2 creative attackers. At Southampton, it was Mane and Tadic.
Yeah, letting the likes of Deulofeu go, right, as well.
Well, Deulofeu, yeah, that is a strange one, right? Because you'd expect that Barcelona would want to see his ability to develop these sort of creative young players. And whilst he's brought people through, like Tom Davis, we've seen Calvert-Lewin get a moment. We've also seen Mason Holgate get a run out. You know, these guys are getting minutes. I'm not entirely certain that they're the kind of creative technical players that Barcelona will want him to encourage. This is a big rebuild as well this summer. Let's not get that twisted. Barcelona need to do an awful lot. Their squad is getting old. You've got Suarez, you've got Messi, you've got Piqué, you've got Mascherano, you've got Busquets. All these guys are getting on in their career, and Barcelona are going to need to find a way to rejuvenate that squad pretty soon. Do you hand it to Koeman? Or do you hand it to a guy who knows the club from the inside? Or do you hand it to a guy who knows the Spanish market? It's a very, very difficult question. Now, Guillaume Balaguer, as Chris said, we talked to him on Continental Club, and he said that he thinks Unzue, the current assistant manager, might go a little bit easy on the players, and that they might prefer to get somebody in from outside in order to give them a boot up the arse. But as Chris says, what do you think? Let us know in the poll. Let us know in the comments.
Next on the agenda, Pato, is Sampdoria's 21-year-old Czech striker Patrik Schick. Now, he's currently their top goal scorer, joint top goal scorer, with 11 goals in Serie A from just 10 starts, although he has made 18 substitute appearances as well. These are hugely impressive numbers, and apparently they're arousing the interest of both Juve and Spurs to the tune of £21 million. I think you're going to talk about his release clause a little bit later. But yeah, here's a brief overview of his playing style. Now, he's got very good feet for a big man, but it's true. And decent acceleration, not the fastest over 50 yards, but I've noticed very decent acceleration and a little bit of reconnaissance I've done. Specialises in shots from range, but his interplay and holding up the ball could be dramatically improved. He's dispossessed over 1 time a game and only completes 13 passes a game, but one of those is a key pass.
Not bad.
Which is not bad, which means he presents a shot opportunity to one of his teammates. Now, these are almost identical numbers, barring the goals, of course, which is important, to Spurs' Vincent Janssen this season. So he's prolific in front of goal when given the opportunity, but his all-round play, as I say, could be improved. Although, Pato, he has the second best shooting accuracy in Serie A, behind the maestro, the master that is Higuain. 56% of his shots hit the target.
Now, club chairman Massimo Ferreira wants to give Schick a new deal. Unsurprisingly, he wants to nail him down and wants to raise that release clause. 21 million euros at the moment. He's hoping they'll double that to 42 million euros. And that would mean that when he eventually goes, the Blue Cecchiati would make a huge profit on the 4 million euros they paid Sparta Prague for the young striker. Now, is it going to happen this summer? Juve don't seem like they're in need of a striker anytime soon. Spurs, of course, might want to give Janssen another season before they decide to get rid of him. Plus, they've got Ali now, who's playing almost as a second striker in that team, and Son, who's been excellent off the bench this season. We could see Juve buy him and loan him back, or opt for a co-ownership thing, as we've seen happens quite a lot in Italian football. He is still a little bit raw. He'd probably do with another couple of seasons in the league just to get his sea legs a little bit better. Maybe not this summer, but certainly the name Patrik Schick is one you're going to be hearing a lot in the coming years.
Our next rumour comes from Mundo Deportivo, and they think that Atletico are going in for PSG's Lucas Moura in a big way. Pato, is he a good player? Would he fit the bill?
The Brazilian has made 50 appearances in all competitions this season under Unai Emery. Now at 24 years old, he's starting to show the potential that made the Parisians pay £34 million for him when he was just 19 years old. He's got 16 goals and 11 assists in those 50 games. That's very, very good. And actually this season he's shown that all-round ability that they hoped they were getting from him. 1.8 key passes a game, that's very, very good. Only 1.7 shots per game, slightly low number, especially in Paris Saint-Germain, who are so dominant against 90% of the league and sides. And he's very involved in play, 32 passes per game. That's actually pretty high for a wide player. So you're looking at a guy who likes to come inside and get involved with the midfield. Transfermarkt currently value him at about £32 million. I thought
that's quite generous.
Well, PSG would be delighted, wouldn't they, if they got that back for him? That would only be a £2 million loss on what they paid for him, and I think it's acknowledged by everybody at this point that they did overpay. I think he'd be an interesting fit for Atleti. This is a genuinely interesting transfer rumour. Not like this shite we normally cover on the show.
I feel like this could be classic Atleti. I'm straying from the script here.
Okay.
But, you know, where they just replace like a prodigious talent like Griezmann leaving, or Aguero or Torres, they find a way to regenerate, don't they, in the most unexpected fashion. So I feel like maybe Lucas Moura could come, and if he banged, you'd be like, of course. But I mean, Arsenal were holding talks with him in January, were they not, Lucas Moura? And they were obviously favourites at that point to sign him. But it looks like Madrid are sort of bracing themselves, as we just discussed, for Griezmann's exit to Manchester United. Boring transfer, we've covered it enough. Let's move on. So yeah, Arsenal have seemingly missed their chance. Madrid look like they're going to swoop. Guys, would it be a good transfer? Let us know in the comments below, as per.
Now, we've just dealt with a Barcelona paper, Mundo Deportivo, discussing a Madrid transfer. Now we've got a Madrid paper, AS, discussing a Barcelona transfer. Now, sometimes this spells bullshit because the papers like to make things difficult for their favoured club's rival. But in this case, we think it might actually come to fruition. Who is it? Where's he going? What's going on?
It is Arda Turan to Inter Milan.
Oh, rhyming. Fans of rhyming, rejoice.
Enjoy. I think this would be good for both player and both sets of clubs. Now, I mean, Arda's had a decent season at Barcelona when given the chance. He's got 12 goals in all competitions and 5 assists. Actually, his best return in his career, I think. I think the most league goals he's managed is 5 at Atleti. So he's not prolific, but he's been good this season in front of goal. As we say, when given the chance, he's had a very limited amount of minutes. I think he's clocked up around 1,600. So he's contributing to a goal every 97 minutes. Someone else could enjoy that attacking prowess, couldn't they? And that could be Inter Milan. Now, the Turkey captain turned 30 this year, and with Enrique leaving the Camp Nou at the end of the season, it's likely a new coach, as you said in previous parts of this show. We'll want to reshuffle, want to freshen that whole Barca squad up and bring in players that are going to challenge the likes of Suarez and Neymar and not Messi, because
not Messi.
Never Messi. But the likes of Paco and Denis Suarez and Digne didn't do that this season, did they? So I think Arda Turan could be a victim of that cull, but at the same time I think it could be good for his career. Now, Inter shored up that DMC position, didn't they, in January with Gagliardini from Atalanta, and with Perisic constantly linked with a move away, maybe to Manchester United. They're going to need someone in midfield that can maybe chip in with a few goals.
Yeah, well, they have Banega, who's got 6, João Mario's got 3, Kondogbia's got 1, Brozovic's got 3. You know, so they have guys who can get goals in midfield, but who are not prolific, as you say.
Perisic has 11.
Well, if Perisic goes, there are rumours he go to Man United, though, for an astronomical fee. It doesn't quite make sense to me. And I think Arda Turan would make actually a lot of sense for them. Plus, we've heard that Barcelona need to raise some money this summer. Now, we've seen them linked to Coutinho, we've seen them linked to Christian Eriksen, which actually I love as a potential move. They'll need a new left back, and they're linked to Theo Hernandez, of course, from Atletico Madrid. Now, if they want to buy these players, they need to raise money, and Turan is sitting there soaking up wages every week, and he's just a dead asset for them. They need to get rid of him. I think they should get rid of Dean. I think they should get rid of a bunch of these players who are never going to be good enough for Barcelona, or who are just a little bit too old, like Turan. I think that he should be on his way this summer, and Inter Milan makes as much sense as anyone. But what do you guys think? Is this good? Is it bad? Let us know in the comments below.
So that was this week's transfer review. Have we missed any stinkers out or any potential, you know, nails on the head? Let us know.
Couldn't think of a good word to rhyme with stinkers.
In the comments below, yeah, true.
That was his problem there, I could tell. If you've enjoyed this episode, don't forget to check out Stat Wars from the weekend. Now, Chris was on holiday, so I took on Zach Gelab, and believe it or not, he was actually not terrible.
Yeah, boy did us proud.
Well,
let's not go probably
too far.
A first.
He was all right.
First time I've ever said that.
He was fine. Yeah. But anyway, like, subscribe, you know, the usual, whatever. Bye.